Well, owning a home is often called the American dream, but should it be? Some say home ownership can actually make your financial situation worse. And I recently had a chance to talk with a financial expert about that. Joining us now, financial journalist Stacey Tisdale. Stacey, good to see you. You know, you hear throughout the years owning a home is sort of the American dream, but I understand it may not necessarily be a good investment.
Not only is it not a good investment all the time, Lynn, but it's not for everybody. Over the past century, housing prices have really only risen about 0.5% a year when you adjust for inflation. Compare that to the stock market, which averages about a 7% annual rate of return. And it was interesting, I was just looking at a survey on this on interest.com. 1 in 4 homeowners are sorry that they bought their home. So really, you have to look at what you expect to get out of home ownership, and it isn't for everybody.
So are people encouraged to rent? I mean, I've always heard that that's sort of just wasting money, or are you supposed to invest this extra money in other ways?
A rule of thumb, don't spend more than 30% of your after-tax income on anything housing related. Also, look what's on the market, but most important, again, knowing what you can afford. So if you're planning to stay in a house for 2 years or longer, you might want to consider buying it. But in this society, in this job market, we need mobility. So you have to think, do I want to be saddled with home ownership? It's quite a big responsibility. But again, it's looking at this notion of the American dream and realizing it's not everybody's dream. It's sometimes we're paying into that picture when it doesn't work for us.
So who's that person you're talking about? Who's the person that should not be a homeowner?
Look at your individual situation. You have... Let's put this into perspective. Generation X, millennials, these are the first who are going to be less financially well off than their parents. They're coming of age, entering their primary earning years when we have a difficult job market, difficult wages. They're saddled with over $1 trillion in student loan debt. Is this... You have to take all of these things into consideration when you want to buy a home. This owning a home, this American dream, was put out by generations that were well off, that were doing better than their families. So you have to think if it works for you. I personally think one of the best things we can do right now is to give ourselves financial wellness. That's one of the best things we can give to our children, not necessarily passing on a home, because so our children aren't saddled with taking care of us when they're responsible for taking care of their own children.
Well, and the generational issue is really not a joke. I mean, one of our producers talked about how her parents lived through the Depression. They would never invest in the stock market. It's just too risky. To them, having a house, it meant something was there, something tangible. You can't lose it, even if it means that it's not going to grow over the years. At least you have it. Do you think that's the mindset of a lot of maybe older Americans?
It is the mindset of a lot of older Americans. It's the mindset of all of us. A lot of us, you've made it when you own a home. But this is important to talk about in this context, Lynn, because right now, we have a lot of people who are sandwiched. They're taking care of their children and they're taking care of their parents. And what's going to happen is they're not saving for their own retirement. They're not going to be able to take care of themselves when they're older. So in this economic circumstance, one of the best things you can pass on to your children is to not be a financial burden. Saving for retirement. So if you want to pay for your children's education, however you want to participate in that, saving that, making sure that you're financially well is going to probably be better gift in this environment than home ownership.
Yeah, and it's
so
harder
think about
times,
it.
Absolutely, and tough situations, but some great advice there from Stacey Tisdale. Stacey, I appreciate it. Take care.
Thanks, Lynn. Thank you.